Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. I'm so excited to do this video. The other day, in honor of Rogue's release and the fact that I'm really getting close to finish editing it, which means I can finally do a cover reveal, put it on pre-order, and get ready for its book launch, I decided to design Lynia and Lynessa's house. They live on a water world called Ashira, so it's made entirely out of water. All of the cities are made out of wood. The buildings are made out of wood. There are docks everywhere. And so yeah, they do sway as you walk. There are bridges that connect one town to another. People get around usually with boats and rowboats and ships and stuff, but they do have horses, they do have carriages, and sometimes they do have caravans that travel the bridges from one town to another. It's very unusual. But I wanted to design Lynia and Lynessa's house because it's a very visual house for me, and I based it in my head off of an apartment I used to live on, but without the apartment-like thing. Instead, I used the it's made entirely out of wood, and it's one story, so I designed it in Dungeon Alchemist. So let's make it, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday. So clearly I have to pick my music first. So for me, starting this I just wanted to pick the best map that could give me water, so I picked the flooded plain. And so after that, I was basically seeing if I could cover the whole thing in water to make it look like an ocean world, because this world has no land on the surface at all. It does have coral reefs and caves in the bottom, but I basically just spent my time covering the whole thing in water. I wanted it to look deeper, but you can't really tell, so I just went around the edges and made sure it all looked flat. After that, I decided, okay, I need to save it in case this decides to lag or anything. So after that, I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm going to start with maybe a cabin because it looked wood. Everything in this is made out of wood. So I was trying to figure out how best to make it look like a wooden dock that's just sitting on the water, because technically there's not supposed to be any grass behind it. After that, it was about getting the general shape of their house. As I said, it was modeled off an apartment that I used to live in. So it was just about getting the shape of it right and the rooms right. So then I was trying to figure out how am I supposed to do the outside of it, because there's supposed to be a gap between the dock and her house, be where she falls and gets dropped one time. So then I was like, how am I supposed to do the docks outside the house? So I just kind of made a generic canal. I didn't like the way the canal looked, but I wanted to get the house structure fixed first. And then after this, it was about I wanted to get the house structure first before I decided to fix the canal. So after that, it was about adjusting the room sizes, making it look better, making it look more parallel and more like I envision when I walk in the house. How does it all look? So I had to adjust some of the room sizes, the hallways, different things like that. I figured I was going to fix the outside grass and cover it back up with water when I was done. So after that, it was about trying to get the room shape right, the room size right. Based on what I see in my head. I had to add in the side for the kitchen, and so it was just playing around with them. So I started with Lynia's room because her room's the more I can see it really clearly. It was easier to start off with that, so I had to delete any items that didn't fit and move things around, like the door. And then I knew that she had bookshelves in her room beside the door, and I just wanted to start with those. And then she has a bookshelf, kind of more of a dresser really, next to her bed on the left side. So I was trying to find a good dresser that fit, because on top of the dresser there's several times where something is put there. So then I really liked the look of those. I wish they had a darker color wood, but I left that. So then it was about Lynessa's room, and her room isn't described as much, but I did picture her bed along the back wall there. And then I didn't really describe anything else in her room, but I didn't like the beds with a canopy because they don't have canopies. So I found a bed that didn't have a canopy that did seem like it fit better. So I changed both of the beds for both of their rooms. So I knew that she had probably some weapons and armor in there, so it was about populating Lynessa's room with what the heck she would have in there. And so then it was me making sure that the hallway had kind of an archway, and then now it was about filling in their house. So obviously I'd already pictured this very clearly based on where I used to live. So they have the couch and the chair, and I was taking out the items that they gave me, and of course I had to fix the flooring. It's all wood. It is made out of the same wood as the docks. It's wood. So that flooring completely fit much better. And then I think I was trying to figure out the walls. The cabin walls did not look right, so I went around and changed all of them on the inside and outside to make sure that they looked like it was supposed to, where it was just made out of wooden planks, like the floor, like the docks, everything in this world is just made out of wooden planks. So then it was about getting the living room structure right. What do they have in the living room? Where does everything go? I knew that they had a table over there where I put it, and I was trying to figure out, okay, what else do they have here? I know that there are bookshelves covering the side that I'm putting them on now, and then to the left of that, as you can see where I'm working now. So I just had to get those in place and adjust, you know, different things like where everything goes. And once I thought the living room was okay, it felt a little empty to me, so I didn't know what else to put in it. And so that's when I started working on the kitchen, because I was like, maybe this is too big of a house and the kitchen actually goes here, because in my head I can picture the kitchen items pretty close to the table, and they have a very open plan. So I was planning on figuring out the walls, taking out the walls later. And then I was like, how am I going to do a fridge? Because they have like a refrigerator type thing. And I was like, okay, I decided to use crates for that because it doesn't actually have a fridge there. But just when I was trying to put that all together, it just didn't seem to fit. It was too squished. So I realized I needed to reshape the kitchen and make the kitchen and the living room one room. And then so I decided I didn't want to have to refind all of these items. So I literally just moved everything in the kitchen into the living room. Because as soon as you resize the room, it was going to take everything away. So I removed the kitchen, and of course it was loading slow, which again replaced the items with living room items, so I had to go through and delete all of those, and now it's one room. So then it was about putting things back where I could see them. So that was the refrigerator. They don't have windows on this part, and I knew they had tables beside the refrigerator, which are basically cabinets, and then more cabinets in kind of like a bar style in front of there, where they have a lot of different conversations. There's a lot of scenes in the kitchen, so I had to get even the details of what goes on the tables correctly, because they wouldn't have that many plates out. They don't have tea. The apples were a really nice touch, because that's a reference in the book. For those of you who've read it or are planning to read it, apples have a very special thing in there in the book. So I left the apples and I moved around the tables, the sink, just trying to figure out where everything was going to be placed. They do have an oven, stove type thing, so that goes next to the refrigerator. They would have some containers, other different little shelves and chairs and packages and stuff. I decided that was going to be the grocery bag, and there's several scenes where the one sister or another comes in with grocery bags and it lays out on the table with apples beside there. So I really wanted to set the scene. Anybody who's read the book knows the scene very well, with the grocery bag on the table with apples beside it. So I did set that there. It's a very special thing. So then I finally moved the table closer to where it was supposed to be, where it's not so far into the living room. It's actually closer to the kitchen, kind of halfway between the two. And I was trying to move the door, kind of adjust what it looked like, because I wanted the details to be really refined and to fit the whole overall look of it. So then I was like, okay, I need to figure out what goes on their table. So I was kind of just looking around at the different tables they had to see if there was a bigger one, because in my head it's more that shape but not that big. It's just not quite as small, but they didn't have one that was the right size. So I decided to leave it, or I decided to change it to a rectangular one. And I loved this one because I could change the shape of the chairs and make it look like they're pulled out, which makes the whole room feel more lived in. So after that, I took away the canal because I hated the canal, and I couldn't stand staring at the grass anymore because that's not canon, it's all water. So I went and textured it around as close and as tightly as I could, so hopefully you can't even see the grass. I just wanted that to be to where the grass is barely even visible, and I literally filled in as much water as I possibly could around the whole side of the couch, and then the house, and I realized I didn't structure the bathroom, so it was about setting that up so they have a shower in the back, and they would have little tables where stuff sits. And I realized they did have a bathroom, so I found a nice little latrine toilet looking thing that fit, and I was just trying to figure out what other shelves they would have in there. and just kind of fill in the details. So I found that they had rowboats, so I was like, oh heck yes, they have a rowboat that she can summon, and I wanted some extra ones to go around the town square. And then I found little rafts that when I put them out, they looked so much like the dock that I was like, okay, I'm using this for the dock, at least around their house, because of the gap that's supposed to be there in front of her door, in between her door and the rest of the docks. So then I decided to kind of fill in the details around the town square with the docks. Now it's not actually a town square in front of her house. It is literally just a bunch of docks that travel through the city with other buildings around it. But I just wanted to do kind of the immediate area around their house. I wasn't going to design the whole town, because again, if you get too many builds in this, it'll lag. So I was trying to make the town square look a little bit more like an actual dock. And I was like trying to fill in with the fencing and stuff like that. And so I was like, well, that kind of looks nice. So I ended up putting in these little doorways that looked more open, because in my mind there is no fencing. There is some fencing to protect people from falling off the dock, but it's not that tall or that efficient. So I just kind of played around with the details there, and then I decided to just take it away because it looked much better with just water filled in, and using the rafts as the dock itself made so much more sense. So maybe I will go through and make the town using these little docks and these little rafts thing. And I found these other size rafts that actually does have gaps in them that made it look more like the actual gaps. So at that point I was actually done. Okay guys, I'm so excited. So let's take a tour. If you can look on the screen here. All right, here is their house. As I said, these are the docks in front of their house, and people just park their rowboats and their ships everywhere. So you come in through the door here, and you walk in to the living room. Now, their house is not as big as this. It's actually a little smaller in my head, but I made it a little bigger by accident. And so you look to the right and you have the table where you sit, and it's actually a round table, but I couldn't find a one of this size that was actually rounded. So you come into the living room here. There is the couch and a sofa that sits here against the back wall. There are bookshelves across from the couch and beside the chair, and again, this would be much closer, so this was actually more supposed to be through here. I also didn't change these two walls, but that's beside the point. The kitchen is here, so you come in, there's counters here, across from the counters here, the sink, the refrigerator, the stove, and a more counter space where they have just items and stuff scattered. So this is the hallway that you enter into, and if you go to the right, you end up in Lynia's room. If you go to the left, you end up in Lynessa's. Lynessa's pretty simple. She has a few dressers and storage things. She has some weapons and armor that she keeps with her, and her bed over here in the back left corner. Meanwhile, Lynessa has her bed here against this wall with some neat little end tables. She has a big dresser on this side of her room that is actually a little closer to her bed so she can reach it. She has bookshelves here with books that she collects, and a little vanity table and a window that's actually very important to a scene toward the end of the book that I just got through editing tonight. And then of course you go into the bathroom. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. So it's a very simple tour, but that is Lynia and Lynessa's house that I just built in Dungeon Alchemist. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday. Let me know in the comments below if you would like me to do more Dungeon Alchemist build. That I would love to do more of these. Let me know if you were interested in them. Rogue is available for pre-order. I will have it linked in the description below. In the meantime, if you want to watch me build something else in Dungeon Alchemist, check out this video. I designed arenas from my current book that I'm writing, Forged of Silver and Moonlight. I designed some epic arenas, so check that out. You don't want to miss it.